The most powerful experience I've had in life. A South African trip is an adventure that should be in everyone's memories. The continent of South Africa is one of the most beautiful countries, although I am told that all of Africa is pretty much beautiful. Even the Sahara Desert, if you're a nomad. I didn't see the desert or the jungle, but I did see a huge python snake that looked like he or she could have swallowed all of us, who, by the way, were standing around in the yard about a yard away from him, talking and laughing. I took this trip as I was volunteering for Habitat for Humanity with my church family. At the time, the ministry that I worked in was called the Seed Ministry. In this ministry, my fellow members and I would go out into the streets of the area around our church and minister with people on the street and invite them to the church and pray for them if they wanted to prayer. You could say that it was an outreach ministry. We distributed canned goods and beans and a turkey or ham to families whose head of households were in prison. We bought new clothes for the children. Um, you could call this about once a year. We would take a trip abroad with Habitat for Humanity. Um, when we boarded our plane, we were prepared for a 17-hour trip. President Carter and his wife Rosalind and the Secret Service and all of their people and family were on the plane in another area below us. We landed in Johannesburg, South Africa airport. We exchanged some of our money at the airport so that we could make purchases. $100 of American money is worth about 1,000 rands, they called it. From Johannesburg, we boarded the small plane to Durham, South Africa. I was amazed to see the large freeways and large passenger bus that I rode on from the airport to the hotel. I was looking for a little dirt road that I see in the movies. When we arrived at our hotel, we walked across the street where there was a marketplace where people, mostly ladies, with their babies sat around selling leather shoes and jewelry and pottery and all kinds of trinkets. My companion rode in a buggy that was pulled by an African man. I sat on the beach of the of the Indian Ocean and watched the African boys surfing waves as high as mountains. After we were done sightseeing, we went to the hotel to get cleaned up and have dinner. When I spoke with some of the hotel employees who told us they lived in what was called the bush. Later I learned that the bush was huts, land away from the city. Um, they did not have running water or electricity. The next day we went to the Zulu land, and this was independent property from the South African property. We met the men who were warriors and hunters, and they went into the bush to hunt while the ladies and women stayed at the huts to prepare meals and work and care for the families. The men entertained us with dancing. um, the women made homemade beer on site. The thing that intrigued me was the fact that they did not believe in baths as we do. The stronger the odor of the men is supposed to be a turn on for the ladies. At that time I was there, marijuana was legal on their land, but illegal in other cities. Um, the main reason why I was in South Africa was to build homes, and that's what we did for a week. We were feeding the thousands of volunteers and workers and cleaning up after them. After a week of work, we went to Nisa, Africa, where I stayed in a beautiful log cabin with lemon trees right outside my cabin and a sauna bath right outside. We ate steak and chicken dinners with orange liqueur. We went to an ostrich farm where some of us rode the ostrich, and the others just ate ostrich and red wine. Ostrich is supposed to not to have a lot of cholesterol, but it's red meat like steak. Also, they were selling ostrich boots that started at $500 a pair. Later, I met a wonderful Indian lady who took us to the mall that was filled with gold and silver and diamonds everywhere. I bought my granddaughter some diamond earrings and some necklaces, and I bought myself a skirt. Um, we visited with some awesome, beautiful lighting and sounds. The native ladies broke into dance when we purchased their wares. We rode a train around the mountain where lions were lying around unattended. We ate fresh caught fish right at the restaurant that they fried and served to us. Breakfast was cooked in front of us in what appeared to be a plantation. Um, we watched young men bungee jump over huge mountains. The rivers were so blue and beautiful.